Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. We got a balancing patch coming in for 3 epic champions and a legendary one. I'll keep the legendary to the end because I'm a little bit excited about that one. I'm waiting actually try it out. Hopefully it's going to be on the test server the next time, whenever that is. We're going to have, and I'll actually test it out. Let's get started with Juliana, one of the OG champions, and her partner champion as well, Romero, are getting changed. Let's have a look at the changes. If you don't know what Juliana does, she's an OG champion in raid. I did use her in the past when I had my early game account, my free-to-play account. I believe I even had it on my main account way at the start when I was leveling it up. She was great in the past. All right, she does and attacks one enemy 2 times. Each critical hit fills this champion surrender by 10% skill. This is her battle dance skill. It won't be changed, but it's still strong if you want to use her at the start. The bad thing about Juliana was now that what she does is a very long cooldown skill. This one, Lethal Partner, where she boosts her critical rate and then does poisons. Now it goes to 3-turn cooldown. I'm not sure if they're gonna add books to this or have it as a book, kind of way. They've never done this in the past, so I'm guessing this will just drop from 5 turns to a 3-turn cooldown, which is actually very, very good for her 3-turn poison when she does a critical hit. So with 70% critical rate, she'll actually apply the poison and always have it up basically for the remainder of the fight, just because she'll always be critting if you've got her built right, and she'll be applying that poison. And then fire or purgation attacks one enemy, removes 1 random buff from the target, has a 75% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 3 turns. Now what this becomes is attacks one enemy, removes all buffs from the target, and then places the HP burn, which is pretty solid. And this drops to 4-turn cooldown. Pretty solid as a buff to this epic champion. She still needs a lot of books, and her utility kind of drops later on. So what are you going to use her for? You're going to use her as a poisoner, I'm guessing, for these 2 poisons. Pretty solid, I would say, because of the change to the A2. The A3 is not that amazing, although it does remove all buffs. It's still not that amazing with the 4-turn cooldown. Still needs 7 books just for this part of the skill. The A2 skill, if you get lucky, you boost the attack, but overall you can keep her unbooked and still have a solid poisoner. Assuming you built her also to always crit with the A2 skill, you'll have a solid poisoner until you get something which is way better than like a frozen banshee. Then let's have a look at Romero, who's in the same faction right here. He's the partner champion to Juliana. Never really used them both together because of the way that their skills work. So his A2 skill, Succor, plays a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns, steals 1 buff from a random enemy. What this now becomes is a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked, and he also steals 1 buff from each enemy instead of from 1 random enemy. So that's pretty good in terms of like a PvP skill, because this will be a removal, is not an attack. So he'll be basically like a solid buff remover from enemies, but only 1 buff or 1 random buff, I guess, from each enemy, which is still quite good. You can still do some stuff with it. And then this one, Divine Benefaction, places a shield buff on all allies equal to 25% of their max health. This will drop to 4-turn cooldown when fully booked, and then places 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns instead of 30%, 60%. Not that strong, I would say. Maybe the A2 now becomes way stronger. More uses now for Romero, I would say, but he won't see as much of use as I would say Juliana now with her buff. I mean, this unique skill is quite nice. Attacks all enemies 3 times, but this has one of the lower multipliers in the game, so it's really not that amazing, even with the change that they're going to do to him. And then let's have a look at the final epic that's being changed. That's Aina. So for Aina, all her skills are changing now. Her A1 ferocity now becomes a 15% chance to grant an extra turn. So with another 5% there, that's a 20% chance. That's solid. Not that fantastic of a buff to the A1. Then her Bloody Swath will now become a 3-turn cooldown, attacks one enemy. 80% chance goes to 100% to place a weaken debuff. So this will be an always apply debuff. Again, if you manage to get the hit in and apply the debuff, you'll always be able to have the weaken stay on the target. Then Overmaster, this drops to 4-turn cooldowns, and this goes to heals the champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. This is still solid because of the decreased defense. I think she will become a solid clan boss champion for, let's say, a team. Let's say you have the bad eater team. You're looking for a damage dealer that does apply both the weaken and defense down. She can do that. She'll also have a heal there. The heal that is changed doesn't really matter for that kind of team, unkillable, but still you have a decreased defense that is solid. With a 4-turn cooldown, that's okay. Like a relentless head is gonna help you apply this more often. And in unkillable teams like the Bat Eater, you go 2 times per one of the enemy boss. So you usually manage to apply everything without really caring about much of the cooldowns, especially with Bloody Swath as well. Now with the change, it becomes practically impossible for Weekend to not be on the boss at all times. And then you also have the extra chance for extra turns now, and this will give you, additional, cooldown reduction once you get the extra turn. Your cooldowns are reduced by 1 turn. So that's pretty solid too, I would say. I haven't tested her out in terms of single target damage to see if she's really worth in that kind of setup. And then finally, let's have a look at, yes guys, Black Knight is being changed. This is a quite peculiar champion in the way that he works, because he's an HP based champion. He has an HP based skill here. He's got a solid continuous heal plus increased defense buff on his A2. This doesn't really affect his damage potential, but his A3 is very unique because this attacks all enemies, so it's an AoE attack, damage increase according to the amount of HP this champion has lost. So this is a very specific skill in the way that it works, and it also has an attack multiplier, so it made no sense to use this guy have him with an attack multiplier. So now what they changed to him is just make this from an attack multiplier to an HP multiplier. So this can even become an 11 multiplier. If I understand correctly on how this works, is that when he's at 1% health, he basically makes this an 11 multiplier AoE skill, which would be amazing. Of course, this will also change some of the, I think, Faction Wars stages where Black Knight is in there. So he might actually be a pain to fight against. And now that it's made as an HP multiplier, I wonder on how strong this actually will be, because he does have a solid high HP base. His attack base is very low, so this already made it very difficult to build him with attack and have high attack in order for this multiplier to work. I wonder if this is gonna make him like a very, very solid HP based nuker. All right, so I really want to test it out, hopefully in the test server. What do you guys think of these changes that are coming to the game? Let me know down below. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.